Hello, and welcome to an overview of understanding drug rebates and discounts for public payers and federal purchasers of drugs. My name is Sharon Yeske, and I am a reimbursement and policy specialist for drugs within the Small Business Education and Entrepreneurial Development, or SEED, office. So, let's get started. There are two learning objectives for this presentation that will cover the types of public payers and federal purchasers, so you may become familiar with and why some rebates and discounts are mandatory versus voluntary. I will provide a high-level overview and will focus on a new brand name drug that is either dispensed or administered in a physician's office. While there are different types of payers, this presentation focuses on public payers, or commonly referred to as government payers, and also on federal purchasers of drugs. This does not include Medicare Part D, as that program is privatized and covered in a different webinar. First, it is important to remember that having a drug approved by the FDA is first and foremost to move forward to commercial success. However, it's equally important to ensure reimbursement by payers and provide access to prescribers for widespread adoption and uptake in the marketplace. Part of a reimbursement strategic plan that may begin as early as 24 to 36 months prior to anticipated launch is gaining an understanding of the payer landscape and the difference between types of payers. Basically, rebates play a key role in the positioning of a new drug on a payer's drug list and may well determine whether it is a preferred drug versus a non-preferred drug. As I mentioned earlier, some rebates are mandatory by federal law, and additional rebates are considered supplemental, voluntary. So, as you can imagine, having the drug secure a position on a public payer's preferred drug list, or PDL, such as Medicaid, can be a key to its success. Some may even say it is critical to its uptake in the marketplace. Therefore, the impact of rebates and discounts must be integrated into your reimbursement strategic planning process. Next, let's discuss a brief overview of Medicaid and the Medicaid Drug Rebate Program, MDRP. Medicaid is a joint federal and state program in all 50 states that provides medical assistance to certain low-income individuals based on age, income, and health status. Each state runs its own program, and that means eligibility requirements and benefits can vary from state to state. The MDRP is a mandatory rebate program required by federal statute that was enacted in 1990. Every drug manufacturer must sign a national rebate agreement if they want to have their drug added to the basic Medicaid covered drug list, so patients will have access to the product. In addition, drug manufacturers are required to enter into agreements with two other federal programs in order to have their drugs covered under Medicaid. First one, a pricing agreement for the Section 340B drug pricing program, which is administered by the Health, Resources, and Services Administration, commonly referred to as HRSA, and a master agreement with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the Federal Supply Schedule, FSS. Rebates that are paid by drug manufacturers to each state are shared between the federal government and the state. This is meant to offset the overall cost of drugs to the state Medicaid program. Medicaid does not purchase drugs, only reimburses for drugs purchased by pharmacies or administered in a physician's office for which a claim is submitted and approved for payment. In addition to mandatory rebates required by federal statute, 47 states and the District of Columbia also participate in single state and/or multi-state supplemental rebate arrangements. Hawaii, New Jersey, New Mexico, and South Dakota do not have supplemental rebate arrangements at this time. Supplemental rebates are generally negotiated between states and drug manufacturers, either directly or through a multi-state purchasing pool organization to further reduce the cost of drugs for Medicaid. The example on the slide is an example of how the rebates, both mandatory and supplemental, impact the actual price as compared to the list price of a new drug. Rebate negotiation is discussed in more detail in a separate webinar. This type of rebate negotiation is generally used to secure placement of a new drug on the preferred drug list, PDL. The range of supplemental rebates can be from 10 to 50% on top of the mandatory rebate percentage in Medicaid. There are several federal healthcare programs that purchase drugs directly from manufacturers or wholesalers, collectively known as the Big Four: Veterans Affairs, VA, Department of Defense, DoD, Public Health Service, PHS, and the Coast Guard. Prices paid by the Big Four are determined through a combination of federal statutory rules and direct negotiations. The VA negotiates on behalf of the Big Four, and that results in what is known as a Federal Supply Schedule price. The maximum price that a manufacturer may charge the Big Four is known as the federal ceiling price. Additional discounts can be negotiated that will bring the prices below the FSS price, the Federal Supply Schedule price. These negotiated prices are reported back to the VA and can be used for future negotiation leverage. In summary, this presentation is a high-level overview of the rebates and discounts for public payers, for example, Medicaid, and federal drug purchasers, that is, the Big Four. The ultimate goal for any new drug should be to ensure market access for patients. So it's important to start early, do the research, analysis, and scenario planning that will support a successful launch and uptake in the marketplace. And if you still have questions after listening to this recording, you can always reach out to us and request a consult with someone from our team. In addition, the SEED website contains links to additional information that discuss the reimbursement strategy planning in more detail using key examples. Thank you.